Hello everybody and welcome to week 7. This week I tested the revenue model hypothesis. This is a complete business model canvas, and at the bottom of the screen you see the revenue streams. The revenue model hypothesis which I tested is, I believe that the capital expenditure of $60,000 and an operating expenditure of $12,000 for the first 3 months is sufficient to launch the project. 5 to 10% higher cost than that for the synthetic garment, a customer can buy a healthy clothing, and sale of 70 to 100 pieces of garments a day can make the business profitable in the very first year. And year-to-year increase on sales by 25% by the year 3 would increase the profit margin to a high level of return on investment, which we can be really happy with. Our experimental methodology was exactly what we had in the previous week, so I'm not repeating it. The survey results are overall Guru's responses were positive for 11 out of 12 questions. 4 were 100% positive, another 4 were 6 positive and 1 negative or neutral, and 3 questions met the minimum threshold of 71.43% of positive. On the customer side also, we had a similar response of 11 of the 12 questions had an acceptable threshold level. One question which was at 62.5% of positive, I considered it as positive due to the nature of the question. The question was regarding whether are you happy with 20% of discount. Now the human psyche is never happy with any discounts given, so I calibrated the neutral as more towards positive and considered it as 75% positive. So overall results are customer reached 75% plus positive for 11 questions, Gurus at 71.43% plus positive for 11 questions, 1 negative in both customers and Gurus surveys, which are explained on the following slides. The revenue model hypothesis has been updated while there was no update or change on the value proposition. So here is our analysis and next step. One question that received low positivity from Gurus is that the OPEX or the operating expense and inventory replacement costs would be sufficiently covered by the sales after the first 3 months. While in both the surveys, even in the Gurus and the customer side, it was felt that perhaps it's going to take 1 year for bringing that sustainability. So we would need more resources to cover the remaining 9 months, since so far we've worked on only 3 months of operating expenses. Another question that received a low positivity from customers is monetary cost and stylish look is more important to me as compared to the health and the environment benefit of healthy clothing. Now this was a bit of a tricky question. It was clarified. They actually want both sides. They want monetary cost low, stylish look, but also healthy clothing and environment friendly clothing. So even though here the responses were negative or more on the neutral side, it was not because they don't want health and environment, and that was further clarified through another question in the questionnaire. Now our final revenue model is $60,000 capex and $12,000 opex for the first 1 year is sufficient to launch and make the project sustainable. 5 to 10% higher cost than for synthetic garments. The customer can buy healthy clothing and they're happy with this idea. Sale of 70 to 100 pieces a day would make the business profitable in the first year, and year by year increase on sales by 25% level reached at year 3 would increase the profit margin to a fairly high level of return on investment, which we can be happy with. Thank you so much and see you next week.